And well, first of all, I have to bring it up. That the conversation that I had with Derek Wilson, he called my cell and he said, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" And this was a week ago, a couple weeks ago now, right? Yeah. And he says, "I'm going to be in the figure eight there." And
barrel racing. He did barrel racing.
Yeah, and he says, "Do you want to join me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything tonight." So it was literally an hour before that, and I liked your shock on your face because like when I pulled in, you already knew this, and you're like, "You're really going to do this?" I said, "Yeah, I can do this," although I was very nervous, and a lot of people who were watching the Facebook live video of us being inside the Derby car. And going around, they're like, "Chris, you could tell you're nervous at the start, but then I was having fun towards the end, and I think that's
you got comfortable."
Cool. Yeah, absolutely, and I was fun. So hats off to Derek, and hats off to your team. I mean, it was really neat to be able to see from that perspective how organized you are when it comes to that, because you have a lot of cars out there. You've got to get them through pretty quickly. For the entertainment factor, so that the cars don't run out of energy and all that stuff, because some of them stalled from time to time. And it's like, oh, yeah, you got to get that started. And so it was neat to be able to see the behind the scenes. So that's pretty neat.
Well, the biggest thing about it was in the barrel racing that it's a double elimination.
Yeah.
You can win your first heat. You can win the first two heats that you race. But if you lose two after that, you're all done. So there was a little confusion on that because it's like a wrestling meet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The weirdest thing is there's not much time in between your races, because Ward would be telling Sherman, call up this person, that person, and you're on deck, this and that. Like, whoa. There's a little confusion. I mean, I think there was a little confusion with us, but it was working.
Yeah, it was great. Well, and you're only a few minutes, between racing. I mean, you're racing somebody else, and then you get back and you're parked, and you're like, okay, who's next? And a couple, and just it goes so quickly, but it's just fun. I mean, I think I don't know if I would get in the driver's seat necessarily, because honestly, when you barrel down that lane before the first turn around that big tire, you have to know when to apply the brakes, or you are going to you're going to end up in the dirt pile there. And so I think it's probably a little practice that goes along with that, right?
Oh yeah. I'm sure a lot of the guys now, like the sheriff department and the fire department guys, they go out and practice a little bit in the backfield. I'm sure they do, because it was pretty. I mean, a lot of them were really on key driving. I think they were they knew what was going on just as much as we did. So that helped us make a great show.
That's cool.
Then we went into the figure eight, and, I got to go back to you. When you got out of the car, you were just like.
Yeah, no, it's cool. No, it was all right.
You were like happy, but wow, that was cool.
I remember.
Did we win?
That's right. I remember holding the bottom of the seat for a lot of those times, like, am I going to fly out of the car sort of thing? But no, I think it's cool. And, the other thing is, some mud flies up, but you don't get really, truly dirty in there. You're going
in the barrel racing cars, you still got your windows in. In a regular derby car, that wouldn't have happened.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it was pretty neat, to watch derby cars racing with the all-wheel drive vehicles and stuff like that. So that made it real interesting. And Derek won second year in a row with the police. He won his division, and then Mr. DeYoung guys came from Holland. There was a group of them that came, and he won again. I think he won last year. Him or Chris Whittigan won last year. I can't remember, but Mr. DeYoung won again this year, and it was fun. I mean, it was neat to watch. I thank everybody for the competitors that came out for just that. I mean, that blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But the figure eight, then we went into the figure eight. Boy, was that wild.
Yeah. Well, and I drove by later on that evening, and it was still going. I mean,
it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock by the time we got
done. That's great.
It was a great show. The figure eight was just, because we had to keep that rolling quick, too, and it was just action-packed. I mean, they were just giving it to each other in them figure eights like the old days, and it was so neat watching that. And then the feature came out, and the two leaders were out there battling among each other, and all of a sudden, boom, they wipe out. Yeah. They get hit by another car. and then there's a new leader.
Oh, yeah.
And the fans went crazy. I mean, it was really neat for a Thursday night. It was a great night for a Thursday night out there.
Well, and that brings us to what our conversation is about today, and that's that's where the opportunities are plentiful this week and this weekend. Next week, you've got fairs galore across Michigan and beyond. Let's see, you're in Cadillac and Berrien Springs tonight,
yeah,
right?
We have figure eight and bump and run in Cadillac tonight. Then I'm going to Berrien Springs and put on a demolition derby down there with Logan and another crew, the Derby crew.
Okay.
And it's going to be a spooky one down. We're expecting 75, 80 demolition derby cars on a Friday night.
What point, what number of cars does it get really exciting? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it
100 plus at a county fair is a lot of cars.
Okay, yeah, that's insane.
'Cause we got a time, we like to be done by.
Okay, yeah.
Manistee is turned into like more of a racetrack because John and Joe and Herman and Mike DeLeon, they've turned that into a really nice race bump and run track. So Saturday at Manistee, there'll be 80 cars there.
Okay, all right.
We had almost 50. There's Wednesday night racing for just the bump and run on a Wednesday night, the other night.
And what time does it start?
Saturday at Manistee at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and technically Onakamat, the fairgrounds,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yep.
so they're 7 o'clock. And are you still taking cars or not?
Oh yeah, we take them up to an hour before the show starts.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, that's awesome.
And we'll be in Cadillac tonight. That's an all right show. We'll get 40 cars, 50 cars there.
Okay.
Tomorrow night we'll get about 50, 60 cars at Cadillac. It's central now, and there's other fairs going on. So with gas prices $4 a gallon, it's.
I meant to ask you this. Do you require when it comes to gasoline and other, like the engines, etc., you can only have this amount of gas in these cars and stuff like that? Okay.
Yeah, it's. A lot of guys in these big, like I was talking about before, the big race cars, they're putting 15, 20-gallon tanks, but they're racing tanks. They're professionally made. They're secure. I mean, they're expensive gas tanks.
Yeah.
And they're holding some gas because they need them because they have so much horsepower. But in the stock classes and the gut and goes, it's just usually the other night a guy said, what happened to you out there? I ran out of gas. I'm like, oh, jeez. So the gas gauge must not have worked or something.
Yeah. The relationship you have, though, also with a lot of the tow companies, like Auto Ranch here in Mason County, donating cars to a lot of these drivers. Do you have those kind of relationships with others in other counties?
Traverse City, our Friday night up there, we had 101 cars there on Friday night, our first year up there. So that was pretty neat. That was the night after the barrel racing in Figure 8 in Ludington. Grandpa's Garage up there does a real good job with giving people cars and even sponsoring the show,
That's cool.
And Oceana County, of course, there's Oceana Auto. They're family to me.
Yeah.
So that they do they've got, I think there's 20 cars at Oceana Auto right now going next week.
That's cool.
So Oceana County Fair is looking at almost 150 cars next weekend.
Okay. And that's your big one. I mean,
that's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely.
We start the bump and run at 4 o'clock there for a reason.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
Because then we start the Derby at 7, or else we'd be there all night.
Is there ever does the fair ever put like a time limit on you? Or
they do.
Okay. Or you could go pretty much late night if you.
Yeah. They like us to be, some fairs like to be done by 10 o'clock. I like to be done by 10 o'clock. So it's tough. Oceana County, it's tough.
Yeah.
Because we get so many cars. And Paul Erickson there, which is doing an amazing job at being the president there and around the community, the things he does. A couple years ago, I was like, Paul, it's 10:30. I don't know if we're going to get done. He goes, come here. He says, these carnies been here for 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
They're ready to go, but look at the food lines. The food lines were just packed full of people. So that made me feel good.
Well, that shows that there's value in the entertainment factor, and we want people to come out. So let's look at the lineup. We're looking at tonight in Cadillac and Berrien Springs.
Yep.
Both 7 o'clock starts.
Berrien Springs is 8 o'clock,
Okay.
and so is Cadillac.
Okay, 8 o'clock tonight. Okay. And then Manistee, in the Manistee County Fair in Onekama, coming up this Saturday. That time frame?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay. So put that on
And
your calendar.
we're in Cadillac also tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Okay. And then next week with the Oceana County Fair, what day?
Next Saturday, the 26th, is it?
Yes, it is the 26th. Yep.
We start the bump and run at 4 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. That's incredible, by the way. That's cool.
7 o'clock is the Demolition Derby.
Okay.
If you want a seat there for the Demolition Derby, you better get there early. The bump and run crowd is so.
Yep.
But at 7 o'clock,
It's packed?
They'll sell out.
Wow, okay. Cool.
I've had a lot of sellouts
All right.
this year on Saturday night.
Looking forward to it.
So the Oceana County Fair is going to be a huge one. I've got guys calling me about this and that, and there's going to be quite a few cars there, just like Berrien Springs. Berrien Springs is a small place. They have to unload their trailers out back in a field.
Okay.
Then they drive their derby car up to the small pit area.
Okay.
And it's like in a big dome.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
it's kind of cool because we have a roof over our head there, but they call it the Thunderdome.
Okay, cool.
And I get a lot of Indiana drivers there, which I've made a really good relationship with a lot of them guys that are they're like in TNT, So that's going to be an action-packed show.
Are you putting a cap on some of these, like Oceana or others, that like, hey, you can't accept any more cars? Because 150 cars is a
As
lot.
long as they're there by an hour before showtime and checked in and inspected.
Yeah.
I don't want to disappoint nobody.
Okay, that's cool.
We just pack the heats, racing heats, pack them with more cars and makes a better event,
Yeah,
That means there's more. The buddy system slows down a little bit when you got more cars out there, and
Yeah.
it's this coming weekend is going to be a fun weekend. And then I get a break. I get a break after Saturday. I don't have a show till Saturday at Hart, so at Oceana County.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be kind of nice for me.
And when does things wrap up completely for you?
It'll wrap up tight at the end of September, but then I got a couple fall shows. I'll be in Cadillac again on the 7th, and then Manistee, we do a October 21st Halloween Havoc show, and I do give out all my season awards there for figure eight and bump and run and stuff.
And do you see that people, we see this, I hope we see this, is that it's not just the fairs that it's exciting to be to watch figure eight and bump and run and derby and such. You see, you have shows that pop up that people like to go to. The excitement and the entertainment value is there all year long.
Oh yes, it's there all year. It's amazing what TNT has become. I never thought in a million years we'd have as many shows as we do, but with Ward doing the racing part and Logan doing the derby part, talking to people, and I still talk to people. Drives Trish crazy sometimes,
No, it's great.
But our championships are going to be at our bump and run championship is in Standish on September 16th, which we always get 130 just race cars there. And then we moved the Demolition Derby Championships this year to Ludington on 923, which that's my derby number.
Okay.
And that's Trish's birthday, so that's kind of neat.
Very cool. All right.
That's going to be both them shows are over $10,000, $13,000 in winnings.
Really?
And
wow.
Then we'll be in Fowlerville on the 30th for the figure eight championship. And we're adding a bump and run down there because the bump and run is just huge in Michigan.
Okay. And what's the difference between bump and run? Am I using the wrong term sometimes? I would assume I am. Bump and run, how do you define that?
It's more of a circle track.
Okay.
A miniature circle, stock car track, dirt track.
Yep.
But they can bump into each other.
Okay.
They don't want to kill each other out there like a regular derby, but they're beating each other to win. Okay. You can hit. It's a race. First, like I said before, in your heats, you win 10. You get first one with 10 laps done. Goes to the feature.
Okay.
The main event.
All right.
The figure eight, there's an intersection where they're going. Which if you would have stayed, you would have saw that out at Ludington. Which there was a lot of action in that intersection at Ludington.
Because they're crashing into them.
Well, they'll stop for people, but they weren't stopping for nobody.
That's fun. All right. That's very cool.
And then the regular demolition derby's last man standing, And like I said, the barrel racing really amazed me this year. I didn't think we were going to get that big of a show for them. And we had 49 drivers at Ludington on a Thursday night. That's pretty good.
That's great.
Between that and the figure eight. So,
all right.
But I'm real excited about this weekend. Y'all come out. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Saturday is going to be amazing. Manistee does have a carnival up there, so that's up there. And it's a nice place right by the water. So Saturday, it's going to be nice out there by the water and stuff. So make your way out there, and I appreciate all you fans, and I appreciate everybody that helps me and advertises and makes TNT who they are.
Yeah, let's spread the word. Okay, and make sure you do that. Todd, we'll have you back in probably as we get closer into
the championship time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to that. Todd Sorensen with TNT Demolition Derby. Make sure you're searching for him on Facebook, connect with him, follow the page, as well as the website. You have plenty of information in regards to the dates and the locations and times, and that's where our listeners want to go. So very cool. All right,
thank you.
Todd. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Stand by for 1 second. We've entered the 10 o'clock hour, so for everybody, we'll check in with you coming up on Monday again. Right now, let's get the 10 o'clock hour started here on 102.7 WMOM.
Thanks for making us number one. I'm proud to be awarded the Small Business of the Year by the Ludington and Scottville Chamber of Commerce. Your hit music is on 102.7 WMOM. Pentwater, Ludington, Stronach.